Hello, welcome back to Healing Momma Podcast. I am Belle, aka Healing Momma, and today's episode is going to be a bit different. I do not have my camera on as I have been under the weather these past few days, and I really wanted to make sure that I was able to get an episode out for you guys. So I'm not feeling the greatest, so if my energy seems off, that is why I apologize in advance, but still wanted to get something out for you guys. So you won't see me this week. Hopefully next week I'm doing better and I will have my camera on and be able to connect with you guys. Thank you for joining me this week. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a part of this healing group already and you've been with me for quite some time, I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you for coming back. So this week's episode is trauma bonds, when love feels like it's an addiction. So this one, it lends itself well and kind of is the follow-up to last week's episode, the narcissist episode. And so when I was thinking about how this week was going to go, I really wanted to follow up because I feel like, okay, Val, you broke down the narcissists and the way they could make us feel. But what then? What's next? What's after knowing that I'm with a narcissist? And it's the fact that you have to realize that most often than not, you are in a trauma bond. So I wanted to talk about trauma bonds this week and kind of the emotions that we go through and the feelings and how hard it can be to get out of these damn things. And honestly, trauma bonds, I feel like don't get spoken about often. It's a hard, uncomfortable conversation. And a lot of the times I feel like people are oblivious to the fact that they are in a narcissistic, abusive relationship or in a relationship that has trauma bonds because it's more common than we think it is. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Today, we're talking about trauma bonds, not toxic relationships, not just red flags, not just, oh, he was bad for me, he wasn't meant for me. We're talking about the kind of connection that feels magnetic. It pulls you in, it feels electric. Sometimes it could even feel spiritual, but slowly it breaks you. It breaks you down. It makes you feel less than. The kind of love that feels impossible to walk away from, even when it's hurting you. I've been there. If you've ever felt addicted to a person, if you've ever missed someone who mistreated you, if you've ever questioned your strength because you couldn't just leave, this episode is for you. So just take a breath and know that at certain points in times in this episode, you might get an aha moment and realize, oh my goodness, everything that she's saying I've been through or I'm going through. And it's all right. We're going to get through it. Just take a deep breath. We're going to unpack everything gently. So you're probably asking, Val, what's a trauma bond? I got you. A trauma bond is an emotional attachment formed through repeated cycles of harm and reward. So what can that look like? It's when someone hurts you, invalidates you, withholds affection, disrespects you, but then they apologize. They start to love bomb you. They promise you that they're going to change. They promise you that things are going to get better. They make you feel chosen again. And that right there is the cycle that keeps repeating for many of us. What does that do when you think about it? It's creating confusion. It's creating dependency. It creates emotional addiction. And it's not necessarily that you're addicted to the person. You're addicted to the chaos and then the relief that comes with it thereafter. That's why when they're kind to you, it feels magical. It feels euphoric. It feels like you're in the perfect world. But then when they withdraw, it's devastating. It takes a blow to you. Your body isn't attached to love. It's attached to that emotional roller coaster that you go through when you are in a trauma bond. And I want to make one thing clear before we move any further. Trauma bonds and narcissistic relationships are not only for significant others. It could be a parent-child relationship. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. It could be a coworker. If you're getting the high, the low, whatever it is, that up and down, that roller coaster of emotions, that's it right there. So why do trauma bonds feel so deep? I feel like trauma bonds can feel intense because what it does is it's activating our survival system. When someone is inconsistent, our brains go into hypervigilancy. So we start to monitor their tone, we look at their mood, we start to overanalyze text messages, we look into their body language. Let me tell you, I used to do this like crazy with my husband. And he would tell me, you're not a mind reader. Why are you always trying to analyze me? And I knew it would cause problems. I knew that it would frustrate him. And it wasn't that I was ever doing it intentionally. It was something that I grew accustomed to. He would walk in and I would ask myself, okay, does he look mad? Does he look like he needs some space? Do I need to be quiet? What is he thinking right now? And in all reality, I had no clue what he was thinking. But oh, did I do my best to make sure that I tried to read his body language? Did I do my best to try to figure out what he was thinking in his mind? You become emotionally alert all the time. That constant stress releases cortisol. And then when they give us affection, it's the dopamine, the oxytocin, that sense of relief. So our brains are literally experiencing a chemical high. It's that same cycle that keeps people addicted to gambling or drugs. So you keep doing the same thing over and over, or our minds, our bodies, our nervous systems are seeking that high after that low. And here's the heartbreaking part. If you grew up in a home where love was inconsistent, where approval had to be earned, where peace depended on someone else's mood, then this is a familiar dynamic to you. And again, what feels familiar feels safe, even when it isn't. Take some time to let that sink in. And then, of course, we have the fantasy version of them. Trauma bonds survive on potential. You don't stay for who they are. You stay for who they could be. The idea in your head of who you want them to be. You replay the good memories over and over. You cling to the beginning when you first met and how it was so perfect. You tell yourself, they didn't mean it. They're just stressed. They've been through a lot. They love me, just in their own way. You start to make these excuses. But listen carefully to me. Love should not feel like an emotional roller coaster. Love should not feel like emotional survival. Love should not require constant understanding at your expense, where you always have to be the understanding one, where you're walking on eggshells. Love should not leave you confused more than feeling secure. And the version of them you're holding on to, that picture perfect person, that version only shows up temporarily, just enough to keep you attached. And let's be real, there's also the shame of staying. And this is the part that people don't say out loud. When you're trauma bonded, you feel embarrassed. You don't tell your friends everything. You downplay what's happening. You defend them. And when you go to leave and then you go back, you feel ashamed. Oh man, how many times I've done that, guys. So let me tell you this clearly. You're not stupid. You're not weak. You are psychologically attached to trauma bonds. You are psychologically attached. Trauma bonds are overriding the logic. It's not that you're not smart. It's not that you're not intelligent. It's about your nervous system conditioning, what you have trained your nervous system to be accustomed to. The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, that becomes a pattern. And breaking that takes more than willpower. It takes awareness. It takes you really looking deep down and realizing the situation that you're in and realizing the situation that you allow yourself to be in. And sometimes leaving feels worse than staying. And that is something that is very confusing for people. Sometimes leaving hurts more than the relationship even did because we miss them. We crave their voice. We feel lonely. You question yourself and wonder if this was the right decision. It doesn't mean that that relationship was love. It means you're detoxing. Again, it's an addiction. Your body got used to chaos. It got used to intensity. It got used to the adrenaline of the highs and the lows. When you remove that source, your system panics. Then silence becomes unfamiliar. Calm feels boring. Peace feels empty. Everything seems scarier. But that's not emptiness. That's your nervous system learning safety. And sometimes that takes time because we are undoing everything that we've done throughout the years of staying in narcissistic relationships, of staying in trauma bonds. So let's define the difference between trauma bonds versus real love. Trauma bonds can feel like anxiety, obsession, fear of abandonment, the high highs and the low lows, emotional confusion. Real love feels like safety. It's consistent, emotional accountability, respect for your boundaries. It feels calm. It feels peaceful. If you feel like you're constantly trying to prove your worth, that's not partnership. That's survival. And you have to really take time to step back and look at it all. And here's where the inner child trauma lends itself to trauma bonds. A lot of trauma bonds connect to our childhood wounds. If you had to earn praise, stay quiet to avoid conflict, read the room constantly, be the emotional caretaker, you may unconsciously seek partners who recreate that same dynamic for you. Because part of you is still trying to win the love you didn't get. But you can't heal your childhood by repeating it. You heal it by choosing differently, by becoming the safe place for yourself. This is where the reparenting comes in. This is where you're looking at the little version of you that felt they had to earn praise or felt like they weren't worthy of love. And you look at that little version of you as your child and you parent them differently. You now have the keys to change that inner child wound and reparent that wound and heal. Breaking the bond is the hardest part. It takes radical honesty. You have to stop romanticizing the good moments, going through the text messages, replaying videos. Write down the patterns that you're going through in this relationship. The hurtful words, the broken promises, read them when you feel weak and you feel like you want to go back. Remember that so you can bring yourself back to awareness. Secondly, set boundaries for yourself or go no contact if you need to. Every text message resets the cycle. The hey, just checking in. Hey, how are you? Hey, what are you doing? It reactivates that attachment, and healing requires distance. Number 3, regulate your body. This isn't just emotional, it's physical. Move your body around, journal daily, pray or meditate, go to therapy if you need to go to therapy. Talk to someone who makes you feel safe, who you feel listens to you. Go outside. Do something that little you used to love to do. If it was riding your bike, going for a walk, a hike, whatever it is, do something that made little you happy. And take care of you. You're learning to retrain your nervous system when you do this. I tell you, there's a healed version of you on the other side of all of this. There's a version of you who can sleep peacefully at night, who doesn't check her phone in anxiety, who doesn't have to rehearse arguments in her head, who can feel calm, who can feel at peace. That version isn't naive. She's healed. And one day, you're going to look back and think, thought I couldn't live without them. But what you couldn't really live without was the chaos. And now you don't need chaos to feel alive. You're working through things. You're reparenting yourself. You're healing. You're growing. You're setting boundaries. Does that mean everything's going to be perfect all the time? No, but it means that now we have the tools that we need to bring ourselves back to a space of peace. And that's what matters. So if right now you're going through this narcissistic, abusive relationship, you're going through trauma bonds. And again, let me remind you, it doesn't have to just be with significant others. I see you. If you've left and you're struggling, I'm proud of you. And I encourage you to keep going. The struggle is only temporary. It takes 21 days to form a habit. Break through. Keep pushing. Keep going. And if you need motivation, reach out to me. DM me. Tell me your story. I hold a space for everyone in my heart because I know that this life isn't easy. If you're still gathering strength to leave, you're not behind. You're learning. Healing isn't linear. But I want you to know freedom is possible. And love that doesn't hurt you, it does exist and you do deserve it. You don't have to bleed for connection. You don't have to shrink yourself to feel chosen. You don't have to suffer to be loved. My higher power created me in his purest form to where I should receive love and nothing less. I should know how to love myself. I should know I deserve the world, and so do you. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's embarrassing sometimes. If it's a relationship and you've been in that relationship a long time and you're worried about, oh, this person's going to say this person's going to say that, they're going to laugh, whatever the case is. I want you to focus on you, not what other people are going to say about you, not what other people are going to think about you. I want you to focus on you and what you need to heal and what you need to work on and what you need to break free from. If that is a trauma bond, you're fully capable of breaking free from that. Is it going to be easy? No. I've said it once and I'll probably say it 1,000 more. None of this healing journey is easy. And if it were, the world would be a better place and a lot more of us would be living our best lives. But because it isn't easy, we have to work towards it, because everyone around us is living the easy route of the unhealed life, of the unhealed version, and continuing to cause more traumas, more generational trauma, more inner child trauma to their kids, to whatever it is, to themselves sometimes. And we're creating this world because it's easy, but it's so chaotic. It's so hurtful. So let's create a world of love, of peace, of healing, and let's show the next generation what they need in order to be loved properly. And sometimes that could mean you're not in a relationship. You do have to let go of that relationship, that partnership, whatever it is, the friendship. Because if there isn't love, then you need to learn to love yourself. You need to learn to provide that love for yourself. Ask your higher power to pour that love into you. And I want you to know that every day you choose healing, you choose growth, is one step closer to your best life. Is everything going to be perfect all the time? No. But I promise you, you will feel so much better even on the hardest of days. Because you'll be able to look back and say, this is where I once was, and this is how I used to react, to now, wow, I did it. Was it perfect? No, but I'm getting there and I see growth. And that growth, when you see it, it makes you want more and more. So be addicted to the good things. Be addicted to the growth, the healing, the love, the peace, and protecting your energy, because you are so worth it. And if you didn't take anything from this episode today, I want you to take this. You're amazing. You are so worth love. You are capable of living your best life, and other people's emotions, feelings do not define you. You are precious, and you are capable of everything that you set your mind to do, including this healing journey. I send you so much love, peace, joy. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Please, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, follow. I am on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and on TikTok. You can follow me across all platforms on social media at Healing Momma Podcast, with the exception of TikTok, where you can find me at Healing Momma Pod. I thank you guys again so much for joining me this week. I hope to come back with video next week so it can be more of a connection, but we'll see. I send you guys love, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Bye, guys.